Welcome to Bull Nation Live. I'm Jillian, and we are going to dish some rich conversation today. We just wanted to jump on this emerging conversation, and I am really excited to have my friend Cristy here, and we're going to talk everything vaccinated and unvaccinated, which is a really hot topic right now. And I just feel it's time to really have that discussion. And so let me just go over some of the hashtags. It's also should be in the comment section. If you want to come live to StreamYard where we are live, you can really join the conversation if you would like. And that link is in the comment section. Hopefully you can see it. If not, give me a chat and let me know whether you can see that Yard stream link or not. Otherwise, you can just stay on whatever platform you're using.
And Jill, I just dropped it in the actual chat as well.
Okay. All right.
So the link should be right in there if anybody wants to join.
Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. Well, let's just go over some of the hashtags that we came up with for this discussion. And we're going to be obviously...
Jill,
yes.
Really quick. You need to accept any comments. It says pending.
Pending. Okay.
So I want to make sure that if anybody comments, you don't have to, you might not see it unless you accept it.
Okay. All right. I'll be looking, but I'm looking on Yard stream.
No, on the Facebook live.
Facebook.
Yeah.
The Facebook live. Okay.
It just says pending. So anybody that's watching there can't actually comment.
Let me go there.
Let's just figure out all our technical issues out front, because Jill is known for always having some sort of technical difficulty.
We are. Is that not the truth? That's what going live is. It's essentially
raw.
It's like your courage to do everything wrong that you could possibly do. But that's essentially what it is. So let's see. I'm gonna look at. Are you on my Fiercely Bold or my Facebook page?
It's
on all of them.
Yours. It says
okay.
Jillian said, yeah, okay. And it doesn't. And then it just says pending. I tried to post
okay.
I didn't know you had to approve that, but
I didn't either. Let me just go back here real quick.
Maybe it's mine. Because...
Okay, I'll just keep an eye.
Yeah, just keep an eye on it.
On any comments. Let me just go to. I'll keep an eye on it because I definitely see it. Can you also check out YouTube and make sure we're live there as well?
Yeah, really quick.
I'm reading the hashtag. Yep.
On your personal page, the most recent post that you did.
Right.
Where it says, "What's on your mind? Emergent conversation."
Yes.
Okay, you just click on it. Okay, let me try to comment.
Okay.
Did you see that?
Yep. It's good. It's good. Awesome. Okay. Woo! One technical difficulty down. I'm so excited. All right. Again, like I said, going live video is not for the faint of heart. You gotta have some really thick skin. So yeah, we're gonna go over some hashtags that we came up with for today, and I think they're pretty exciting, and I would just love, to think what you guys, whomever's on, what you think. So we're going to be discussing, obviously, vaccinated versus non-vaccinated. We're going to be talking about, let me go over here real quick, respect, division, conversation, education, acceptance, labels, family, choice, anxiety, job, fired, depression, immune system, stress, tribe, listen, and ostracize. So those are some of the hot topics that we're going to be discussing today. And I think what I'll do is I'll kind of start off with, Cristy, like my kind of journey of choosing / not choosing to be vaccinated. Let's put it that way. I did it for a multitude of reasons, all of which were about feeling afraid, seeing it in the media everywhere, and just feeling overwhelmed. I mean, literally overwhelmed. And I just did not know exactly what to do with that overwhelm, except make my appointment and go get my shot. And therefore that would all be gone, right? In my mind at that time. It was also about feeling afraid that if I landed in the hospital, that I would be not taken care of because I had chosen not to vaccinate. So there was that fear piece involved. And I just literally did it kicking and screaming. I mean, I'm serious. Like that, I should have listened to my gut. I got there. They got me in the room. I sat there forever. I had every opportunity to just jump up and leave. And I just almost did so many times. And after I got the shot, I was so sick. I immediately 2 days later had strep throat. And I was just deathly ill. And then I had to muster some kind of courage, just starting to feel better to go in and get my second shot. And, I find it funny because, they call it the jab, right? Well, my first shot, it literally felt like I got it at CVS, I think, but it was like, I literally left there feeling like, ouch, like it was like a jab in my arm like that. I mean, it was not like a typical like shot, and I was not prepared for that. And it was really a horrible experience just from the get-go. And I think my arm was doubly sore from the jab. So the language that they're using now, jab, is really super appropriate. And to this day, I question, I question that decision daily. It's stressful for me to question that decision. I think about what's in my body. I think about the toxins. I think about all the detox that I potentially should do. I just simply did it out of fear. And I really regret having done that. And so I don't know how many others feel that way, that once you have done it, where you're at with it, especially today, especially as all the information is starting to pour out, right? And we're starting to get more and more educated by people that are, willing to talk and give us the appropriate information. So I even become more concerned whether, I'm even covered with my vaccine. I just have really essentially gone back to, the way I first lived, which was obviously wearing my mask everywhere and doing social distancing as much as possible, even though I'm vaccinated. But what does that really mean? How does it last? How long does it last? I don't feel like I have any of those answers. So I feel no more protected now than I did before I had my vaccine. So that's kind of my experience with having been vaccinated. If anyone can relate to this, if you know of anyone that's going through this, or someone that's unvaccinated and really having a hard time with it, please share this out. Share it. Share it so that people can join in on the conversation. They can feel supported. They don't feel alone. And because it is a kind of a lonely road out there for the unvaccinated. And we'll hear about that from Cristy. So I think that with that, I'm going to just kind of hand over her experience. And, I just want to say one other thing. Well, no, I don't. I want Cristy to share her experience, and then let's talk about some of these other things. Okay, Cristy?
Well, actually, before we do that, I just want to say up front, which we should have probably said in the beginning, this isn't a This podcast isn't we're trying to convince you to or for do either. It's more about that we should just be having these conversations and having them in a respectful way, whether you agree or disagree with anybody's decision. So, our experience isn't your experience, isn't anybody else's experience. We're just speaking our experience. We're not trying to tell anybody what to do. So that's first off. And anyway, now that I've said that,
and we want to get into some of those discussions once you get done. So some of the respect and some of those hashtags that we want to really, dive deep into.
Yeah, I just wanted to give an overview of that.
Perfect.
So, Jill, to be honest, I'm going to be real honest about something here. And I don't mean to sound like I have a victim mentality or victim-like mentality, because I certainly don't. If you know me personally, that's not me. But to be perfectly honest, I was a little bit scared to do this podcast today, because to be perfectly honest with you, if you're unvaccinated in this country right now, you're a lot of times shamed, guilted. At least that's been in my experience. I should say I've been shamed, guilted. I've seen a lot of things out there about who I am, having put labels on me as a person. I've had many people try to have conversations with me. I won't even say respectful conversations, sometimes respectful conversations, but more than not disrespectful conversations with me about how stupid I am and how ridiculous and how uneducated I am that I am unvaccinated at this point. Even from the president, who I voted for, who I openly support, but, I'm being called out. And I just want to say, we can go deeper into this, but I don't want to cry and whine about my experience, but I just want to say, I evaluate. I was telling Jill earlier, I evaluate on a weekly, if not daily basis about the vaccine. I'm constantly educating myself. I'm a very educated woman, right? I hold a master's degree. I'm not an idiot. I'm not naive. Vaccines are evil. That's not me. I'm very educated. I'm not going to get into my reasons why I'm unvaccinated, but the fact is that they're my reasons. It's my body. It's my personal health. I know we want to go into, you're affecting other people, but at the end of the day, I ultimately, am the one to make that decision and don't believe that I am. So yeah, I don't know, Jill, where do you want to start? Which part of this should we talk about? I don't want this to be a poor unvaccinated people,
right.
Not at all.
No. I think that what we really want to talk about is the experience of of how divided our country is becoming.
Right.
How divided our friendships are becoming. How divided our families are becoming. It is hitting the core. I am on Clubhouse, daily, and there is a club that talks about vaccinated versus not vaccinated, and just the stories pouring in of how many people are being ostracized by their families, told you can't come to that Sunday dinner anymore because you're not vaccinated. It's tearing people and families apart because we're just unwilling. It's just setting it up for division. I don't feel any one person is probably any more protected than the other, but there's just this false narrative that's going around, and I plead. I know I have had this experience. I know Cristy has had this experience of being, uninvited. What a horrible feeling to feel uninvited.
It is. It like you said, it's causing rifts in relationships and families. And I just don't understand. When did we become, a country where we didn't have honest, open, respectful conversations about things? When, I just feel like we're in such a place right now, and I'm generalizing, but I feel like we're in such a place where you even talk about being unvaccinated and you're put in a box. you know, and I'm just speaking from the unvaccinated side, but you're immediately put in a box, you know, and you're not even asked, you know, like, well, tell me how you feel about that. You know what I mean? Not even a discussion. It's just you're bad, you're wrong, you're evil. Every day I open up social media and it's the first things I see. I was telling Jill, you know, I was telling you earlier, Jill, like that, you know, I pulled up Facebook yesterday and the first thing I saw was somebody just going off on unvaccinated people and saying, you know, your body, your choice is BS. And, you know, you're the one that's causing all these deaths and all these things. And it's like,
and yeah, and think about, like, you know, I mean, what we have to be right now is really cognizant. I'm going to kind of tap into our immune systems, and, you know, what this kind of stress, you know, now more than ever, everyone, vaccinated, non-vaccinated, vaccinated people are dying in hospitals today from COVID as we speak. So, I mean, we all need to be healthy, get enough exercise, get enough sunshine. All of these things we need to be really responsible for. But when someone is feeling ostracized, alone, just stressed about, you know, having to take in that idea that, you know, I am somehow potentially responsible, like, because I'm not vaccinated. Think about that, what that does to, like, your sleep patterns, your everything. I mean, it just, for the person that's unvaccinated, it is more stressful than those of us that are vaccinated. And being vaccinated is a choice, but
so is being vaccinated. It's a choice. We live in a country with free will.
But do we? I mean, we do to a limit, and you know, a limit.
We're supposed to, right? Within reason, within laws.
Right. I mean, we're talking about the mandates and people losing their jobs, people being fired because they're not vaccinated. So, you know, their livelihoods are upside down. So what does that really say? I mean, yes, you have a choice to live a very different lifestyle than you potentially were if you are fired or let go from your job because you made the choice. And, you know, you made an interesting point when we were discussing earlier, is just that, you know, you have to think personally about what your DNA is, what your limitations might be, what this might cause you to get this shot. How could this potentially compromise you in ways that you don't know? You know, people are having, you know, hard.
Jill, can I interrupt you really quick?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I just want to point something out that proves all the point, is that it proves our point of doing this podcast. This is how we got to this point, right? That we wanted to do this podcast. You know, we're just not having enough conversations about COVID, about vaccines. We're having one-sided conversations, and I can prove this point right now because I literally just saw, as we're live streaming this on Facebook, I go to share it in one of the groups and I get a message that says, make sure you're sharing reliable information. Visit the COVID information center for reliable vaccine info and resources. It's like, already, you know, we're being shut down and we haven't said one fact. I told Jill before we started this podcast, do not say any data unless you have it supported. Do not make up any facts or stats because I don't want to get flagged.
Yeah.
And we're not saying anything, and we won't say anything like that. But it just proves the point, is that these conversations are immediately being shut down via social media, via your family, via the public, that they don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. You're bad. You're unvaccinated. You're bad. You're vaccinated. You're good. There's this struggle.
It's just it's just and it's going to get worse. Okay. So it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And so that's why, I really feel passionate about really encouraging people open to what everyone's choices are. Ask the question. Ask, why do you choose? Why do you not choose? But it's like you get shut down so fast that you're not even allowed to even ask the question because you're already hitting a brick wall. And I just encourage, come on, families, like let's talk, let's debate about it. Like, it might be a little uncomfortable, but what's less uncomfortable? Being alone? So I just really encourage people to really think about some of these hashtags that we put out there. Think about how the person on the other end is feeling before we judge. I know, one of the hashtags is labels, right? So now the label, I've had to live my whole life. Well, not my whole life, but I've had to live till I came out, as a gay woman, being labeled after I came out as a gay woman. And, so there's that label. And now.
And Jill, and let me point this out, as a gay woman, and to be a part of that label now, you also have to be vaccinated.
Yes. Right.
Because if you're not, it's unacceptable.
Right. Exactly. So it's a double whammy, right? We're back to there. We're back to that label, like that labeling situation. And I just feel that it's about destroying relationships. It's about destroying, that's at the heart of it for me. At the heart of it for me, it's about that it's the conversations or the lack thereof are destroying relationships that have been built over a lifetime. The idea that you would be uninvited from something is just, I just never thought I would witness something like that in my lifetime. I just can't think. Can you, Cristy, can you think of any other scenarios like that?
Yes, I can. It's called discrimination against being gay. There have been lots of times I haven't been invited to a partner's whatever because I'm gay, but I'm just that further accentuates the point is that
true.
It's it's almost like a discriminatory thing now. You know what I mean? And here, listen.
And how have we got there? My God, how have we gotten to? Okay, let's just put that label on it, right? Let's call it discrimination. Let's call it what it is, and how after
it's discrimination, but it's it's about their safety. It's their safety discrimination, so they have an excuse.
Well, we can put all kinds of nice little words around it, right? But at the end of the day, it's discrimination. And
here's the deal. Here's the deal.
We've risen so much in Black Lives Matter. We've risen in the gay community. We've really accomplished so much in discrimination in these really pivotal areas. And yet now here we are in this situation, and I'm baffled, and it's just happening, and no one's talking about it. No one is talking about, we are, but I rarely hear people talking about the discrimination, how it feels, how stressful it is, how much anxiety it gives, how much panic attacks. It's
it's a
real thing.
And two things. First of all, if someone says, I don't want you to come to a family gathering if you're not vaccinated, or you're not invited to the wedding if you're unvaccinated, listen, that's your choice. That's your choice. Whatever your reasons are, whether I agree with them or disagree with them, that is completely your choice. You know, at the end of the day, all we're saying is, you know, it feels, if you think it's what's healthy for you, that's great, and your family, and you feel like you're protecting them, fantastic. But to us, it feels like discrimination. And second thing I was going to say is, what was I going to say?
Well, I know what I want to say. And
Go
you can
for
think
it.
about it. So, I mean, just take a minute when you're you know, making these decisions and making these decisions about who you might be eliminating or uh, ostracizing for whatever reason. Just think about the fact if it were the other way around. All right.
You're saying we should have unvaccinated parties and don't invite the vaccinated?
Hey, I'm just saying, just think if the shoe was flipped, how would you feel? How would you feel if it was you being ostracized from something? I mean, I would have to say, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, Cristy, but you know, most of America has not really had to. I mean, yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, there's a lot of areas, Black Lives Matter, all that. There's, you know, there is obviously still discrimination that is sickening. There's obviously still people being probably alienated. That's sickening. But beyond, let's take maybe just that element out, and how much of America has to ever feel ostracized or removed from the tribe, or it's just something very unfamiliar to people to have this, to have this feeling. And I don't know how it's becoming so easy for people to want to ostracize or want to uninvite. That to me is the scary part, because
Well, Jill, two things. First of all, I want to shout out to our 3 viewers. You guys should, or 2 viewers now, you should join the conversation. And comment below. If you disagree with us, please tell me. At least we'll talk about it. And the second thing I was going to say is, what would you say? I guess, what would you say to, let's say, a counteract activist comes to you and says, you know, I don't want to invite these people. I'm uninviting them because it's not safe. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for my family.
Say it again.
What do you say to that? What do you say to people that, you know, I mean, I would bet there are people out there right now going, I'm not inviting unvaccinated people. If I don't want to invite them, it's my choice. It's their fault. They didn't get vaccinated. I'm doing this to keep myself and my family safe. What do you say to them?
I say to them, you've already had the vaccine, so why? I mean, you're safe. The person that's not safe is the person that is willing to come to your house unvaccinated, you know, making that choice to support you and your family in coming and being a part of something. The unvaccinated is the one that is really at risk, not the vaccinated. So this is where this is backwards to me, and I don't understand the way that we're thinking.
Well, and you know, I think some people think, well, you know, I don't want to pass COVID on to an unvaccinated person. Well, here's the deal. Just like you have choices, we have choices. You know, I've made choices not to travel for certain holidays this year. I've made choices not to travel as much as I normally do. That's my choice. That's part of being unvaccinated. You know, so I can protect myself. I can worry about myself. But, you know, as Jill said, you know, you can get COVID from a vaccinated person. They can spread it to you. You can get COVID from an unvaccinated person. They can spread it to you. And here's the thing. If we want to talk about discrimination against the unvaccinated, we're discriminating against kids because kids can't be vaccinated. So now are we ruling out kids from coming to these events?
I mean, that's a very, very, very good question. And I mean, that is, I want to add that to my hashtag list. I wish I would have thought of that. I mean, that is really, really true. And it's part of the conversation. Like, yeah, or right. Is there an age thing on this that, you know, like kids under something age get to go in free and things like that. I mean, I just, I think we're not thinking, folks. That's what I think. We're not thinking. We're not feeling. We're walking around like robots. We're not feeling the compassion for the other person that is hurting. And that
Alex commented that soon the kids will be able to be vaccinated. So yes, you're correct. That's true. I'm just saying currently.
Currently, they are not being vaccinated.
But soon, but you could also make the case then that soon there's actually going to be better, more effective vaccines than there are now. And I'm not saying the ones that we have now are unsafe by any means, but it's been proven in history that the most effective vaccines come after years and years of trials and years of studies. And I'm not one of those people that's saying these vaccines aren't safe, don't take them. I do think they're safe. I totally pushed my parents to get it and was an advocate for anybody, like my partner, who's a teacher who works with kids every day. I was an advocate for her to get it. At the end of the day, people, it's your choice. It's everybody's choice. And you just have to respect that and not immediately jump to, you're bad. You're a bad person. You're trying to kill everybody. You're the problem. It's like, no, let's just have a conversation. And by the way, if you are trying to convince an unvaccinated person to get a vaccine, let me just tell you, based on a few things I've experienced, guilting, shaming, telling them they're anti-vaxxers, telling them they're the problem and they're the worst people in the world and F them and BS and all this stuff is probably the last way to get them, to convince them to go and do it.
Absolutely. 100%. Like that, they're going to run the other way.
And you don't know what they're dealing with. You don't know if it's, maybe some people can't get vaccinated. They have really bad reactions to vaccines or they're really allergic to vaccines.
Yeah. To that, like my tattoo artist, Paula, she had a really horrible car accident and she has been suffering and she was in the hospital for months. And she got the first shot and was so ill that her doctor physically told her, you cannot get the second shot. So what do we do in these instances, right? Like there are situations like this all over. And I mean, there's these medical exemptions and things that people get, but still, what are the thoughts about that when someone says that? Let's just go back to the idea of she's not vaccinated and there's a family event. And so what does someone do with that? Oh, well, because she has a medical, I mean, now all your philosophy gets just thrown out the window, right? I mean, everything that we've just discussed it doesn't make sense anymore because if you go, oh, well, okay. I mean, you got a medical exemption. So come on.
Or religious reasons.
Just come on. Like, so now I'm so befuddled. Like when you start to go into the nuances of this, it just gets almost laughable.
And here's the deal. Listen, you don't have to.
Maybe that's all we need is a good dose of laughter.
You don't have to agree with what we're saying. You know, I just want to say, bottom line, we're just promoting having more empathy for people, which I think is like a motto throughout all of your podcasts, Jill. Just having empathy and being open to conversations. You don't have to agree with me. You just have to be respectful. Like I'm respectful back to you. You got vaccinated? Sure. Tell me why. Tell me why you think it's a good idea, or tell me why you think I should be vaccinated. Fine. As long as you do it respectfully. That's the bottom line here. And by the way, if you do disagree with us and you don't like what we're saying, comment join us, please. Yeah, we're happy to have a conversation.
We're, that's
don't just sit there.
That's obviously what's not happening. And I just want to add one other thing to that is that also be open, folks. Be open to everything that is out there. Don't just sit over here on this one side in this little place. Open up your heart space. Just open up your heart. Here's what really could shift everything. If everyone could open their heart space and think about how does a non-vaccinated person make that decision? What do they go through? What do they go through in that decision? That would then allow you to open up to a lot of the alternative conversations that are going out there, the data that's starting to pour in, things that are pouring in that give you food for thought, that you're not just sitting in this one position. And that alone, if you would open yourself up to all the foods of thought, you will then begin to have more compassion for the person that has chosen to not be vaccinated.
Jill, I have a topic we could talk about quick.
Okay.
How do you sorry, we got cats joining the show here now.
Oh, that's
good. How do you respond when people are going to probably watch this and they're going to probably say, why are you so angry? Why are you guys so worked up about this? Why are you so angry? And we talked a little bit about this earlier. I don't want to be seen as the angry people going off about the anti-vaxxer crazy people, because that's not who we are. But what do we say? What should we say about that?
What should we say about that? I'm a little pissed off at this country right now. I'm a little pissed off that that people are suffering that are vaccinated and not vaccinated. People are suffering, and I'm a little angry about that. I think a lot of people are, if you get down to it. This has been a rough ride. This experience has been, this pandemic has been a rough ride.
Tell me about it.
So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Please don't confuse my passion for anger.
True.
And that I'm a very passionate person, and I speak with passion that could sometimes maybe even be transcended as being angry. But I am more passionate than I am angry, but I am also pissed off.
And I think, I wouldn't even say anger, but I think you have to be a little pissed off to get things done in this country. We kind of have to talk about some of these controversial things. It would be lovely. It would be just lovely if we could get on this podcast, right? And say, everyone's getting vaccinated and the world is happy and we're all going to get along and everything's wonderful and the pandemic is over and let's just go out and it's butterflies and let's go to all these fun things. Like, it would be so great if we could just tiptoe around this stuff and act like it's not happening, but it is happening. And she's a vaccinated woman and I'm an unvaccinated woman. And while we agree on some things, not all things, so trust me, not all things, we can get on this podcast and have a respectful, open conversation. And we agree that this needs to be talked about. And it's not all over. It's not all better. It's not, we're going through some tough times. And I feel like we're seeing kind of the really great side of humanity, but also the really dark side of humanity, in that people are just turning on each other. And, and I don't even just mean with vaccines. I mean, that's a whole different discussion, but we're just turning on one another. Like, we just need to have more empathy. And I'm not trying to sound hippie, like peace and love and everything, but we need to have more conversations and you need to be more open to hearing them.
I'll be the hippie love peace guru. Yeah. But I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I hope that this discussion in some way, I mean, I just know that it was just important for me to talk about it, and I'm just really I'm so grateful that I have someone that that I'm so grateful. I mean, Cristy reaches out to me and she's like, I know you're vaccinated, but we just have, we have the courage to have these discussions and we have the courage to talk about it. And by me hearing her, I open up my, open up all my heart space for hearing how someone is literally hurting from feeling the way that she feels. I mean, her decision to not get vaccinated is so freaking complicated that you can't even imagine. I mean, every week going back and revisiting it. Should I? Shouldn't I? Start to make that appointment. Just
am I
not
going to
sure.
die? Am I
Yeah.
going to get proper? Am I going to die? Am I going to get proper health care? I mean, listen, it's out there, and it's important information that is being shared, but it's a lot of fear. It's a lot of persuasion and bullying and guilt and shame. And here's the deal, I have never ever said, speaking as an unvaccinated person, I have never said that I will never get the vaccine. I'll never get it. I'm against it, or make up some weird facts, BS facts about it. But yeah, I'm going to do it on my time, when I'm ready, when I feel good about it, because I don't want to go through that experience where I feel guilted, shamed, forced into doing it, and I'm not ready. I heard somebody say my body, my choice is bullshit, but it's really not. I mean, if you are a liberal, okay, which I am, or I guess I would lean liberal. I hate labels, but if you want to say my body, my choice is BS, then how do you feel about abortion, right? And not to bring that big old chaos into here, but I'm just saying, I mean, you can't have it both ways, right? What we put in our bodies is our choice. That's how I feel. If that's how you feel, then you should not be judging me and what I'm putting in my body.
Right.
Or not putting in my body.
Not putting in your body. And I think that...
and you shouldn't be judging Jill and what she did either.
No. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, I'm just here to say, open up, world. Let's come together. Let's do everything we can to eliminate the divide, because that is not going to help us when we are pitting against each other, and that makes for a world that no one wants to live in, and when there's that piece.
And let's not sweep it under the rug and pretend it isn't happening in this. These are ongoing conversations in this country, shutting them down, sweeping them under the rug. We're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to grow as people, and we're not going to grow as a country.
I mean, that's never worked, right? That's been proven. If you want to fact check me, sweeping it under the rug.
I said no facts.
Has sweeping it under the rug ever helped anywhere? I mean, has it helped the LGBTQ community? Has it helped the Black Lives Matter community?
It helps short term. It's a Band-Aid. We don't have to talk about it now. It's fine. No. It's a Band-Aid, but no, not long term usually.
Just do your part. That's all I'm asking. Just do your part to reach out to the person next to you and say, let me understand why. Like, you know what? They probably would have a wonderful story about their decision and why, and their why. That's the big thing in everything, right? Business, the why. All right, folks. Well, this is the time to step up and ask the why. We ask it everywhere else. So let's not stop here. And I think I'm going to end it on that. Unless you have anything else to say.
I was just going to say, ask the why, but respect the answer, because a lot of times I get asked why I'm unvaccinated, and I give my why, and it's not good enough for them, and they don't respect that. So, yes, you can certainly have discussions about it. And if I ask you something and you don't feel comfortable telling me why you're vaccinated and you want to talk about it, then I have to respect that.
Yep.
As long as you say it in a respectful way.
Right. Absolutely. 100%. And I think that,
and not shut me down.
Yeah. That's the thing. We just have to be really careful of that. And I think those for coming on, I hope that this gets heard. either way, I feel really good about it, and I hope you do too, Cristy. And it's not an easy thing to do. Like I said, this isn't for the faint of heart to come out here and put your heart on your sleeve, put your voice in the world, put your passion in the air. It's not easy. So
put a mark an A on your chest.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they, what am I thinking of? Easy A, you know, where they wrote, it's fine.
So something like that. Yeah.
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 And I just want to say really quickly before we go, since I feel like mostly our viewers are friends and family, but others too. We love you. We are not angry. We support everything you have to say, or we will listen to everything you have to say. We just ask you do the same, and we just want more togetherness and empathy in the long run.
Absolutely, 100%. And I am, I think, well said. And I think we can leave it at that. And and seriously, if anybody has any comments, if you see this afterwards, it'll be obviously live streaming, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
If you see this afterwards, don't rip us apart.
Or if you do, you know what? We've got thick skin, don't we, Cristy? We can we'll take it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what happens when you put yourself out here. You got
at least we're talking about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. At least we're talking about it. All right. Well, thanks again, Cristy, for joining me, and bye for now. Hey, live fiercely bold in the world, but be freaking kind. Bye.